Alright. You should be able to hear me now, and actually hear me, not just hear all the mic noise. I'm really sorry about that. That was not great. I did this yesterday. I was trying to chat with some friends, and I had a little bit of an echo, and I plugged my mic in. My mic wasn't on. I keep forgetting it's got to be turned on. That's what I get for having a real mic, I guess. But, yeah. So what I thought I'd do until people actually start showing up and we have a little bit of an audience gathered is create some names for people and places, because the last time I did a stream I was pausing not just to actually make those decisions about where the story goes, but also to I was also pausing to create names for new characters that walked onto the scene and ask people to kind of help me figure out names for new places. And I think that just ate up a little bit of time that didn't need to be eaten up. So I'm going to start with that right now. I'm actually first going to just let people know I'm here and get that going. But yeah, nobody's here yet. Once people are here, I'm going to start asking those questions. Right now, I'm just chit-chatting, talking to myself, trying to fill up that little bit of space at the beginning of the stream archive, you know. So yeah, don't mind me just taking a selfie for Instagram. There we go. So I'm just gonna type that. Oh, it looks like a couple people are here. Hi people, how are you? Please introduce yourselves in the chat so I can say hello properly. I got that shared. Hi Alyssa, hi. It's good to see you here. I'm so glad you could make it. Alyssa's one of my good friends. We've been friends literally forever. So yeah, Alyssa's the best. Uh, Actually, Alyssa, can people like follow you yet? Are you gonna be like streaming from this account when you're streaming? Because if you are, I'm gonna send people over to follow you. But if they can't follow you, then that'd be a little bit silly. Um, oh sweet, go follow Octagon Eyes. That's Alyssa's account. She's about to start streaming games and stuff, and it's gonna be really awesome. It's gonna take her a minute, but be ready. She's amazing. Alright, I'm going to. I don't need to tweet that. I'm gonna share it from my YouTube. That's YouTube. That's YouTube. That's YouTube. That's YouTube. That's YouTube. That's YouTube. Alright, I got it. Sorry, I'm still getting used to the technical stuff a little bit. I almost got the hang of it. Alright, so what I want to do now is get some character names and some place names for places that people might go as they're moving about. So if you can, just start throwing names in the chat, people, places, whatever, whatever you think. You can make it funny if you want, you can make it serious if you want. Just have fun with it. I've got my little notebook that I'm gonna write things down in. My sister actually got me this notebook, I think. It's one of my favorites. people and places. So the only name that I have so far is our main character's name. Her name is Kai. That I've just been thinking a little bit about this main character. I don't know too much about what's actually going to happen with the story. So I have a little setup for you guys, but that's about all I've got. That's what I did the last time too, because that lets me be authentic in the way that I'm responding to you guys in your creation of the story instead of me just trying to drive the story wherever I want it to go. We really are all in this together. So our people are Kai, our protagonist. Um, she's a little bit of a rogue, but she's our protagonist, and things are definitely going to get interesting. Don't know how yet, but they're going to get interesting. Um, so places and names. I think I'm going to make an inn. I'm going to make an inn called the Stay Home Inn because everybody should be staying home. I don't know if we'll be going there, but it exists now. It's a good name for a king. I'm sorry, I got allergies going on. What's a good name for a kingdom? We can call it. Um, See, I'm good at just about everything with storytelling, but names get me. That's why I'm asking. That's why I'm asking. Thanks. I know it's hard. It's hard to come up with a name on the fly that doesn't sound silly. I can get even like a whole story detail. I can come up with a myth in like 2 seconds, but I can't come up with names for the life of me. Uh, we're gonna call the kingdom Levalia because it comes from life, and I just said life. This is how I'm rolling as far as names go. Um, hmm. The girl's names I'm gonna throw an L in there. I like the name L. Um, I'm gonna throw Ryan in there just cause. I'm gonna throw a Remy in there just cause. We're gonna throw an Emmy in there just cause. There can absolutely be an Augustus. That is spelled right too. That is spelled right. That's how you spell Augustus. I'm also gonna throw Rudy in there, but Rudy can only be a good guy because Rudy is Alyssa's dog and he's a stand-up man. Um, uh, names of places. Names of places. Somebody's gotta jump in and help me out because otherwise I'm gonna be calling it just Landia, and that's not gonna be good. Um, you know what? I'm gonna throw Landia in there if we get desperate. On Wednesday's stream, we had a place called Grinaldo, but if I call it Grinaldo, then I have to set it in the same world. That could be fun. We can make a little cinematic universe over here. So we're gonna have Grinaldo as an option. That simplifies things for me. So I think we are gonna set this in the same. We're gonna set this in the same universe. Um, So basically, what that's going to entail is that magic is going to be a thing that exists. Only a few people can use it, and that's about all we know about magic. Um, so that's not going to limit things too much, but that may come into play. Or this could be a completely non-magical story. We shall see. Um, all right. Anybody else want to jump in the chat and let me know who you are? Let me say hello. All right. I think I'm going to start a story in a minute. So, here's how this is going to work. I've talked about it a little bit before, but here's how this is going to work. Um, I'm going to start telling a story, and every so often, I'm going to ask you a question about how the story is going to go, what our what our protagonist is going to decide to do, um, or maybe what some other element of the story is. It looks like my Twitch screen's glitchy. Is it glitchy or is it just me? Um, I'm actually gonna exit that in the background. I think it's just glitchy for me. That might give me a little bit more space to speak with and not be stressing myself out. It is a little glitchy. Okay, hopefully, thanks for giving the feedback. Hopefully, me exiting out of stuff will help tone down the glitchiness of it all. Where did I set my phone? I just had it. I was gonna say I might try turning off the Wi-Fi on my phone, but I can't find my phone. And that's a problem because there's only a limited number of places that I could put it. It's under my notebook. It's under my notebook. All right. As you can see, we're very together here in the Briarwood house. So I think I'm going to begin. Um, Actually, I'm just gonna send one more little message really quick. All right. All right. Here we go. Let our story begin. So anybody who joins in, I'll just, what I'm going to do, just kind of so everybody knows, when I kind of have a lag where people are bringing their answers in, I'm going to do a quick little recap of where we are in the story so that as new people enter the chat, and enter the story, they can kind of keep up with where we are. Get everybody kept up to speed pretty well, so that's our plan for right now. All right, it begins. In the city of Lavalia, in the kingdom of Grinaldo, there live many people who are on the margins of society. Many of them, many of them are young, many of them are orphans, and many of them make their way pretty much whatever way they can and look out for each other the best that they can. One of these people is Kai, our protagonist. She's been living on the streets for as long as she can remember, and she's been making her way for as long as she can remember. Hi Ellie, how are you? Glad you could make it. We're just starting our story. Um, so, Kai is is having to make a little bit of money just to be able to sustain herself however she can. She's not going to make it honestly, because she can't afford to make it honestly. So, how's she going to make her money? Is she going to look for somebody to pickpocket? Or is she going to... You didn't miss anything, Ellie, you just missed the setup. Alright, so we've got our first choice. Is she going to pickpocket? Or is she going to play a shell game, and hustle a shell game. Um, so what you missed so far is just the setup. We're in the capital city of the Kingdom of Grinaldo. The city is called Lavalia. Um, they have a bit of a poverty problem. There's a lot of people, especially young people, who are just kind of living on the streets, making their way. Our protagonist, Kai, is one of them. She has been living in this way as long as she can remember, and she's just kind of had people look out for her along the way a little bit. And now she's got a people she looks out for however she can. And so that is the way that she's making her way. And today she's just got to figure out a way to eat. And it looks like our first vote is for the shell game. Oh, thank you! Thank you so much. This is how I dress pretty much all the time. I like a little bit of the fantasy aesthetic. Thank you very much. Um, all right, so we're in it for the shell game. Awesome. So Kai doesn't have a lot to her name. She keeps pretty much everything she has with her. She's got a bag, and what she keeps in the bag is a change of clothes and a little case that opens very quickly and closes very quickly into a table. Thank you so much. Um, so she's got like a little case, and she can pop it open very quickly and close it very quickly. And in that case, she's got everything she needs to play a nice little shell game. Um, so she goes along, and she goes just kind of on the outskirts of the marketplace. She's not quite in the marketplace, but she's on a little intersection where a lot of people have to pass through there to get to the marketplace. Um, and that way, none of the shop owners are complaining about her presence. She knows her craft very well. But plenty of people that are a little bit interested come by, and every so often she's got her little pattern. She says, "Anybody want to get lucky today? All you have to do is follow the coin in the shell. If you can follow it, you double your money. If you can't find it, I get to keep it. It's an easy game. It's an easy game. Come along, step right up. You can play. You can spare a coin for a little bit of fun." And everybody kind of knows that they're probably going to get swindled, but they're all right with it. They're fine with it. Um, you know, it's it's a, it's a it's just kind of part of the experience, and everybody's about it. She's got a little crowd going. She's got a couple people gathered around, and they're just throwing down copper coins. It's not very much, but if she can keep this up the whole morning, she'll be able to go back into the market and get enough food for herself and a couple of younger kids that she's looking after a little bit. So she's doing very well. She's doing all right for herself. And then she spots someone, and she sees a woman. This woman is well dressed, but not too well dressed. She doesn't look like nobility. She looks a little bit stressed out, but she looks like she might be a good mark, and uh, she looks like she's just needs to have a good time. So Kai calls out to her and says, "Ma'am, would you like to make some money today?" Um, and the woman steps over, and she looks amused. She looks a little coolly amused about it all. And she says, "You know what? All right, I'll play." She lays down a gold piece, and Kai is immediately very nervous because she doesn't have anywhere near a gold piece, and she knows intellectually that she can move it and there won't be a problem. But if something does go wrong, she can't get it back, and she realizes she might have made a miscalculation because this woman seems like someone who might get her in trouble if she does swindle her and knock the coin where it's not supposed to be as she wraps up her pattern. Um, so she's a little nervous, but she can't back out now. So, decision number one: does she decide to give her the coin back and say this is too much of a wager, or does she decide to play her game? I don't know if they're. Oh, I think somebody new did show up. So basically, we've just done our story setup so far. Kai is Kai's a little bit of a grifter. She tries to be nice about it. She lives on the streets. She's pretty young. She's got a couple other people she looks after. Um, and today she's playing a shell game to try to make enough money to feed herself and her friends. So everybody says she's going to play the game. All right. So she goes. She takes the coin. She has almost never had this amount of money in her hands before. This is a very decent sum. This could be like half a month's rent. Like this is a very heavy coin, and she just kind of looks at it and she sets it down. She gets out her shells. She passes them. She puts one shell over it, and she starts doing her shell game. And she's saying, follow the shell, follow the shell. Um, uh, so on and so forth and what have you. I've never run a shell game before. I think you can tell. But she stops and she asks the woman, "Where is your coin?" And the woman points at the center. She goes to lift the shell. Is the coin there, or is it in another shell? I'm gonna have a quick little drink break. So to put another way, has she won or has she somehow lost? Oh, I forgot to get my dice out. And I dropped my dice. All right. So she won. She won sheets today. So, um, I've got dice. I think next time I do something like that, there's certain ones where I think a roll of a dice suits a little better, and I think that would have been a good one for a roll of the dice. But next time we'll do that. So she's gonna win. Um, so she lifts the shell. The shell is predictably empty. She's very good at her craft, and the woman looks genuinely shocked. She looks like she expected the coin to still be there. And Kai says, "Oh, thank you, ma'am. Thank you for your money. Would you like to play again? Double or nothing?" Because she's feeling good about it now. And the woman says, "All right, double or nothing. Let's see what you got." She gives her another coin, and now she's holding in her hands. She's got a month's worth of rent. She could find a nice place to stay and to have some of her friends stay for a whole month. She might be able to get her life together with this. Um, so she takes it, she places it down, and she starts playing the game again. And once again, when the woman points, this time she points at the left shell, and the coin's not there. So she nods, she walks away, and Kai thinks everything's fine. She's excited. She's getting ready to pack up her table. She's going to go immediately to an inn where she knows she can find lodging and secure herself lodging because she doesn't want to be holding on to this kind of money for too long. But as it turns out, this woman was the wrong woman to mess with. So, why was she the wrong woman to mess with? Is she a sorceress? Or is she an officer of the King's Guard? For anybody that just tuned in, I'm telling the story of a young woman named Kai who lives on the streets. She makes her living playing a shell game, and she is she's just played a game with the wrong person. All right, I've got my first vote. I'm gonna wait a couple more seconds. Um, I've got 2 votes sorceress, 1 vote officer, and an idea. All right. So she goes, and as she's walking away, she walks about in the same direction that the woman is walking. and she, hello, how are you? I'm telling a story. Um, so she's just won her game, and she's walking, and she's got the coins in her pocket, and all of a sudden, she doesn't have the coins in her pocket, and she all of a sudden she's terrified. She doesn't know how they disappeared. But the only thing she can think to do is run after the woman, and she goes, she catches her by the arm, and she says, "Hey, where's my money?" And the woman says, "Excuse you?" And she's just like, "You just played that game with me, and the coins are gone. Where is my money?" And the woman very slowly says, "I am not someone that you should be dealing with. Just count me lucky that I haven't reported you or taken any other retribution. I'm impressed by your ability to actually play this game. The coin should have been in the shell that I picked. That's all I'm going to say." And she turns to walk away. And then she thinks better of it. Um, so, why does she think better of it? Is it because Kai is clearly very crafty, or is it because unknowingly Kai has manifested magical talent? So this is going to determine pretty much how the whole story goes. Is she magical or just crafty? All right, it's looking like she's magic. Okay, so um, the woman says, "You don't understand. I put I haven't seen The Magicians, but I hope that's a good comparison." The woman says, "You don't understand. I have charmed those coins, and they always find their way back to me. You should not have been able to, they should not have been able to find any other shell than the one that I chose, and yet somehow you were able to do it. You have great magical potential." And Kaiji says, "I also have a great need to eat, so if you could give me any coin that'll work, I don't care if it's a copper, we can call this even." And the woman says, "You could have more than just a copper with the kind of gifts that you possess." And Kai just says, don't, I don't believe you. I think that if I had magic, I would be doing a lot better than I am now." And she just kind of gestures vaguely at herself. She's wearing rather ragged clothes. She's clearly not doing very well. And the woman says, "Yes, you could be with your talents. You just don't know how. Come with me, and I will teach you everything that you need to know." Um, so, is Kai going to go with her, or is she going to mistrust her and refuse to follow her? Let me get a little more water. Oh, I think somebody here might need a recap. Kai is a Kai lives on the streets of a kingdom with a little bit of magic in it. She's been making her way pretty much all of her life by mostly kind of grifting people with a shell game, but she will also occasionally pickpocket if she needs to. And she has just now played a shell game with a woman who has magic and managed to call her coins back to her. All right, all right. So Kai doesn't trust that easily, and she says, "Ma'am, you have not even told me your name. You have given me no indication that you are in any way who you say you are. You could have gotten charmed coins from any magic worker who was willing to create them for you. I have responsibilities. I have friends. Unless you can prove to me that you are who you say you are, and look after me and all my friends for as long as you propose to train me with magic, I cannot go with you. I have to get back to my game. I'm sorry." And she turns and she leaves. Um, And the woman calls out, "Can I find you here tomorrow?" And she just says, maybe you can find me here tomorrow. I might not be. I might be here. I might not." Um, so Kai goes. She plays her game. She makes just enough. She gets food for everybody. She goes back to her camp where she's got a few of her younger friends, and she's got enough food for them. She distributes. She's got some bread. She's got a little container of soup. She's got one of the things she's got in her sack is she's got a nice little jar that she can hold a lot of soup in. So she's got some soup. She's got some bread. She's distributing it. She's got a couple of people that she looks after. So she's got her friend Ryan, who is about her age, and she's known since she was a child. And then she's got two younger kids she looks after. Their siblings. Their names are Remy and Emmy. Um, so she goes back home, which is just kind of there's uh, there's there's a building. It's got a couple of different people in it, but they've got a nice awning that kind of stretches out a little bit, and they don't mind too much having a couple of people under the awning. Sometimes it's an inn, and sometimes Kai works out of there and kind of drums up some business for the inn. So they won't let her stay in there. She's not that lucrative, but they'll let her kind of take shelter. Um, so she's got an okay situation as far as anything goes, and um, her situation is not good, but to her it's good, and so she's reluctant to leave it. Um, so she gets home and she's talking and she tells the story, and the kids, Remy and Emmy, are just absolutely. Hang on, I gotta make a note. Uh, so Ryan's her friend. The kids, the kids, Remy and Emmy, are just incredulous that she didn't follow this woman, and they're just like, "You could have changed everything. You could have whatever." And her friend Ryan is just like, I I disagree, kids. I know that this sounds exciting to you, but there's a lot you have a lot to learn about the world, and you can't just go trusting people. This woman had no proof that she was who she said she was, and um, you'll learn as you grow. But our friend Kai did the right thing, and so they 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 eat their dinner and they go to bed, and Kai wakes up the next day, and she's got to set up to play her shell game again. So, is she going to set up in the same place that she did before, just kind of wondering if maybe the woman will be back? Or is she going to um, find a new place to set up and just try to avoid this whole mess? Don't mind me and my beverage. I can't. I'm not used to talking for a very long time. I'm trying to get my talking endurance up because right now I'm in school to be a teacher, and that means I'm gonna have to talk for 6 hours at a time. And right now I get a little creaky after half an hour, so I'm trying to get a little bit better with that. But in the meantime, I'm um, I'm relying a lot on hydration. All right. So does she go back to the same place, or does she um, find a new place to set up and just try to avoid this whole mess? Alright, I'm not seeing any answers roll in. Alright, first answer's rolling in. Find a new place. We've got one for the same place. We've got another for finding a new place and avoiding this. So the next morning, Kai sets up, and she doesn't want to go to her usual marketplace area. She figures it'll be a little less busy by the inn in the morning, but there might be some people coming out of the inn, and so pardon me, she is she's setting up her cards, not her cards, she's setting up her shells, and she starts her patter, and she's just trying to put the past day's strangeness behind her. And she's just sort of thinking as she goes, she's just like, there's, there's no way I'm magic, right? There's no way. Um, so she's playing around, and she's thinking about her card game. Not her card game. I keep calling it a card game. I'm sorry. She's thinking about her shell game, and she's got her coins, and all of a sudden she thinks to herself, maybe I can try it. What if I go through all the motions I need to put the coin in the left shell, but I focus on it going into the right shell. Um, Let me see how this works. And she's not going to try to put it in the middle shell. She's not dumb. She's not going to risk making her own money, but she focuses, and the next person she comes across, um, she tries to put it. She moves her hands to put it in the left shell. She tries to put it in the right shell, and she signals like it's going to go in the middle shell. So I'm going to roll my dice and see how that works out for her. So 1 and 2, it's going to go into the left shell where it's supposed to go. 3 and 4, it's going to, no, wait, 1 and 2, okay, so if she gets a 5 or a 6, the magic's going to work and she's going to get it into the crazy shell. If she rolls a 3 or a 4, it's just going to go where it's supposed to go. And if we roll a 1 or a 2, it's going to go into the middle shell and she's going to lose some money, but she's also going to know that something's afoot. So I'm going to roll my little dice. Here's my little die. So it's going to cute little die. And we've got a 6. So she's playing her game, and the next person that comes through, she picks up she picks up her shells. It's not in the middle where it's supposed to be, and she picks up her shells. And instead of being on the left, where her hands put it, it's on the right, where her mind put it. And she looks shocked. She just looks shocked, and she looks so shocked. The person she's playing with doesn't know quite what's up, but they figure maybe it's worth another wager because maybe she's a little off her game. Um, and she holds it together the best that she can, and she shuffles, and this time she doesn't try any mental weirdness. She just plays her game, and this time she gets everything just fine. She's got enough coppers to feed everybody. She's all set and settled, um, and so she goes, and she just kind of, once that person leaves, she doesn't do her patter anymore, and she just kind of sits for a minute, and she wonders just how many times she might have done something like this by accident and not realized it, because she took to the shell game just like that. She never had a misdirection fail her, and she's just kind of looking back, and she's wondering, what on earth? I think I must be magic. I don't know what to do with this. And so finally she's got a decision to make. Does she keep trying to figure this out on her own? Or does she go back to the marketplace and try to find the woman from yesterday and see if she has any answers, because she doesn't know where else to go. There is a magic academy, but it's quite a bit out of town. It's not in the center of town, and even if she went there, they would be unlikely to answer her questions, and she wouldn't be able to. Um, it's unlikely that she'd be able to afford keeping herself together, as well as attending the magic academy. She can't do both things at once. So she's just, this is about her only chance, or she can just try to figure out her magic on her own. Can you grab another drink? All right. She's gonna go find her. So She goes. She packs up her case, and she goes to the spot where she was before, near the marketplace. And she sets out her table, but she's not really even at this point. She's not really even doing her patter. She's just kind of waiting. She's keeping an eye out to see if she sees the woman she saw yesterday. She sees her sooner or later, but she's not dressed the same way that she was yesterday. Today, she is wearing robes that have a bunch of different script embroidered along the sleeves and across the collar. She's wearing these scarlet robes, and they have all this embroidery in this strange script. And very quickly, Kai has a realization. Not only is this woman a sorceress, she is a royal sorceress. Um, Now, here's my question. Is she the royal sorceress of Grinaldo, her own kingdom, or is she the royal sorceress from another kingdom? What do those red robes signify? She's a sorceress from another kingdom. Another kingdom, alright. Um, alright. She's a sorceress from another kingdom. So she looks at her. Thank you for the compliment about my bottle. I got it at a Renaissance festival. You can kind of probably tell it looks a little Renaissance festival. I got it at a Renaissance festival this summer, and I love it a lot. It's also nice. It's nice sustainable materials too, so I think that's pretty cool. Um, but I can't remember who made it, or I'd tell you who made it. I should look that up actually. So she has this realization that this woman is a royal sorceress from another kingdom, and um, she just kind of freezes, and the woman approaches her, and she says, "Hello, it's good to see you here again. I am Elle of Landia, and I promise you, I am not playing games with you. I am someone who can help you with this situation." And she just kind of Kai's just kind of surprised. She just kind of nods along, and Elle just kind of said, she just kind of nods for a second, and she's like, "Oh, don't you have anything to say to that?" And Kai kind of shakes her head, and she says, "I've had a strange day. I put a coin where it wasn't supposed to be, and I'm just I think that what you said might be true, and I don't know what to do with that." And Elle just kind of nods, and she says, "Well, I've talked it over with the delegation from my kingdom, and you and your friends, if you will agree to um, study with me, you and your friends can have a place to stay at our embassy, and I will find work for your friends. They will all I will find work for any of your friends who are of age to work, and I will find apprenticeships for any of your friends who are too young to work." Um, and At this point, Kai doesn't really even care what her intentions are. That is that promise is very, very appealing, and she she would sign over right there, but she knows she has to run by her friends, and she says, "Can I meet you at the Stay Home Inn to discuss this tonight? I need to speak to my friends, but this would be an incredible opportunity for me, and I want you to know how much I respect that, and I want you to know that I am ready to study as hard as I can and learn as much as I can. Like I'm there. I'm your girl. And Al nods and says, "Good. That's excellent. I will meet you there tonight." So Kai goes home and she stops. She stops for food along the way, and she goes home. And the two little kids are there, but Ryan's not home yet. So she's talking to the two little kids, and she's brought home a little bit of candy for them too. And they almost never get candy, so they're over the moon. They're jumping up and down. Um, but she doesn't want to tell them too much yet. So she waits for her friend Ryan to get home, and pretty soon he's home, and he's got a couple of coins. And before she talks to the little kids, she pulls Ryan aside and she tells him about the woman's offer. Um, so, is Ryan going to think that this is a good idea? Is he going to be on board, or is he going to still be suspicious? Update for anybody new to the stream, just to catch you up on the story. Um, uh, Kai is a young woman who mostly subsides living on the streets. She grifts with a shell game. She's just discovered that she has the ability to do magic, and she's received an offer from a sorceress from another kingdom to study with her and to be able to bring all of her friends. Um, and the votes are in. Ryan's suspicious, and Ryan says, "I can't believe you're considering this. You don't know what her intentions are. She could have, you don't know what anything about politics. You don't know if the Indian government could want to harm our own kingdom. You don't know who you're working for. This is insane." Um, and Kai just says, "Look, if you want to meet her tonight, please come with me. But I do still have some reservations, but we could all be all right. I could be trained as in magic. You could." She says she's got apprenticeships lined up. You could do anything that you want and just be set for your life. We could set up the kids. Um, I think it would be a really good thing. And honestly, I'm not sure how much I care if she does have bad intentions. We could all be all right." And Ryan says, first he says, can't believe you're even, I can't believe you're considering this." And then he just kind of, he thinks on it for a minute. And finally he says, "Well, I'll meet with her, but you have to ask her why she wants to work with you. Um, and you, if there's anything suspicious about what, if there's anything suspicious about what she says, I need you to know that I'm not going to stand by and let you cause any kind of genuine harm. I will go to the authorities and talk about whatever operations she's running. I can't let you do something wrong." Um, so, does wait, I'm not sure if now's a good time to give an option. Also, if you guys ever have just like random suggestions about stuff or stuff that you want to throw in the mix, feel free to throw it in the chat. You can talk even when I'm talking. I love hearing what you have to say. But Kai just nods because this is the only thing that makes sense to her, and she agrees that she needs to have reservations, and this seems like an all right kind of compromise. So she gets ready. She changes into she's got her one change of clothes in her pack that's a little bit nicer, and she changes. She gets her clothes a little bit nicer. She gets herself kind of cleaned up. She gets herself ready to actually go into an inn. Brian does the same. The kids are all excited because they don't know what's going on, but they know it's something. They know it's something big, and uh, they at night at the meeting time they go in. They set the kids by the fire. There's a storyteller by the fire, so the kids are all set and they're not going to be underfoot. And they go and they wait and they meet Elle the sorceress, and she's very generous. She immediately orders a big meal for she orders a big meal for both the two that she's talking to and for the little kids. And she says she sits down and she says, "Thank you so much for meeting me. I really appreciate it." So I've got a question for you guys. Are her intentions good, or are they not so good? Are they somewhere in the middle? Um, Let me know your thoughts. Is she genuinely benevolent, or is she manipulative? Does she want to harm their kingdom, or does she just have her own agenda? All right. Looks like we're liking the morally gray line. Yeah, absolutely. Um, so she sits him down, and she says, "Thank you so much for meeting me. I know this must seem like a extremely generous offer to you, but I have my reasons for offering it. Um, and um, pardon me, they just kind of nod, and Kai says, "All right, I think I'm going to need to hear your reasons before we agree. I appreciate your generosity, but I need to know before I sign up to work for you what I'm going to be doing and what that's going to mean." And Elle nods and she says, "Oh, I shouldn't touch my eyebrows. I did my eyebrows. Sorry, had a little itch." Elle nods and she says, "Well, I need something from you that I can't do for myself. Um, I will train you. I will take care of you completely, like I've said, but I will need you to do something for me, starting almost immediately." Um, and Kai says, "Okay, but what is it?" And Elle talks and she says, "Things are starting to change in the Seven Kingdoms. I think everybody kind of feels a current on the air. Last month there was almost a world-ending catastrophe that just sort of happened because the state of magic has been strange lately. Something's been off. And I can't be everywhere at once. The various royal sorcerers of the various kingdoms can't be everywhere at once and can't be involved in everything all at once. And we need more eyes and ears. I would like, once I have trained you, I will teach you quick magic that you can use to survive, that you can use to keep yourself concealed, and that you can use to communicate to me. And I would like to ask you to be a spy." Um, and Kai just stops and she says, "Look, I can't be a traitor. The penalties for that are insane. Besides anything else." And Elle just stops and says, "No, I'm not asking you to be a traitor. You won't be reporting to any other government. You'll be reporting to me and to a few of my friends. And you won't be reporting on political matters. You'll be reporting on magical matters. So once I have once I have you trained, there's a position opening up locally in the treasury where they keep a great many magical artifacts. And all I need you to do is just report back to me about the state of these artifacts, about who comes asking about them, about who may or may not be using them. Um, there's no betrayal here. I promise you that. All there is just being keenly observant, which I know you can do. Um, you are quick-witted, you're clever, you're a good judge of character, um, and I think that this is a job that will suit you. And your friend here, if he wants, he could do similar work, and you could just communicate for him, or I could find any other position for him. Like I said, the embassy always has room for people in their household to take care of things. He could train with, we could find somebody for him to apprentice with if he wants to learn to be an artisan. Um, we'll find space for the kids as well in an apprenticeship that starts a little bit earlier, to make sure that they're taken care of when you're away. Um, so what do you say? Will you take this position? So I need you guys to decide. Does Kai take the position, or is she going to decline and see if she can somehow reach the authorities about what's going on? Either way, it's going to go somewhere cool, I promise you that. But just let me know, what does she decide? Thank you so much. I will just make sure you say hi when you come back, and I'll give you a nice little, I'll give you a nice little recap. Recap is the word I was looking for. All right. All right. All right. So we've got one vote for declines and one vote for uncertainty, because if she declines, the sorceress might not disappear. Um, so she's gonna say, "Thank you so much. I truly appreciate it, but I don't think I can take this position. I don't feel ready. Um, if uh, if if for example," and she's trying to spin things really fast, and she's like, "If for example you were willing to send me to magical school for a little while, so I could learn a bit more deeply about magic and truly be useful to you." She's just kind of trying to delay, see what she can get. Um, I'd appreciate it, but I don't feel ready to jump into this right away. This is really intense stuff. You've made it clear that it's very important. Um, and I don't think I'm your person. I think maybe it would be better for you to look for somebody else. And the sorceress, she just kind of nods, and she says, I regret to hear that you're declining, but um, and she hands her a coin, and she says, um, keep it. She doesn't hand her a coin. She hands her like a little medallion. Um, and Kai can't. She looks at it. She's kind of sizing it up, and she can't quite tell what it's made of. She doesn't think it's very valuable. It seems like maybe some sort of painted wood. And she just says, "If you change your mind, use this, and you can contact me." Um, and Kai nods, and she says, "Thank you so much for the opportunity." And the sorceress, for now, walks away. Um, so uh, Kai and Ryan just kind of sit there, and they're finishing their meal, and um, they're both a little shaken by this, and they just say, "I don't know. I don't know which authorities we should go to about this even." And um, the kids, after a couple minutes, when the kids realize she's gone, they bounce up, and they're telling her all about the story that they've just heard, and they're very excited, and they haven't eaten this big of a meal in a really long time, and they're just happy as can be. And Ryan and Kai are just sitting there kind of trying to strategize, and finally, um, finally, Kai says, "I think that I should go to the King's Guard tomorrow. I will see if I can. I'll see if I can find someone. I'll go to the castle gates. I'll talk to the gatekeepers there and see if they can send me to the person that I need to speak to about this." Um, and they they just kind of agree, and they go, and they get settled for the night again. And the next day, very early in the morning, hoping to kind of get in ahead of any official matters, they uh, Ryan stays, and he's just kind of like trying to make their money for the day. And Kai sets out and goes to the castle gates and says, um, she kind of waves down one of the guards, and the guard's just like, "Yes, what's your business?" And is very snarky with her because she clearly doesn't look like she's supposed to be going into a castle. And she says, "I have really important intelligence. Something very strange happened to me um, the other day, and I don't know who I need to speak to, but I think this could be a matter that could affect the whole kingdom. Somebody has asked me, a sorceress has asked me to be a spy for her, and um, I don't think that I can do it." And um, the guard just clearly looks alarmed. He calls to one of his buddies, and his buddy rushes off, and he says, "All right, you stay with me in the guardhouse. I will find people for you to talk to. Tell them what you told me." Um, and so the the other guard comes back, and um, he has with him two people. One is all decked out in finery. His armor is gilded, and he is the captain of. He's very clearly the captain of the King's Guard, and the other is just dressed kind of plainly, and I can't tell who that is. So we've got these two people. So we've got Rudy, the captain of the King's Guard, and Augustus, who is this plainly dressed man standing next to him. Um, and the captain of the King's Guard asks her what's happening, and she relays it. She relays all the information, and the man sitting next to him just kind of looks increasingly surprised as she tells her tale. And finally, he says, "I don't know who you spoke to, but there is no sorceress named Elle who works for the royalty of Landia. She's either she's taken on some sort of assumed name or assumed title. I don't know who this is, but you did not speak to anyone official from Landia." And Kai's just kind of like, "Well, how do I know I can trust you?" And he says, "Well, I have contacts with all of the sorcerers in all of the different kingdoms. I have a job that sort of relates to and pertains to magic. I have been in contact with many different magic workers recently. Things have, what you say is true, that she related to, things have been strange recently in the Seven Kingdoms, but I don't know what, um, I don't know what's going on with this person, and you were right to come to us because there's there should not be anyone asking for this kind of spying, and that is incredibly suspicious." And she just kind of nods, and she says, "Okay, I'm very glad that I came to you. I'd like to go home now. I don't know." And she's almost going to ask for a reward, but she sees that they're both looking very serious, and no one's in the mood, and maybe somebody will offer her something anyway. So she just kind of waits, and she says, "I'm glad that I could help. glad that I could be of service, but I need to be getting back. I don't want to deal with this anymore. And before she does that, Augustus the sorcerer stops her and says, "Wait, you say she gave you a medallion with which to contact her, right?" And she nods, and she says yes. And he says, "Can I see it?" And he takes it and he inspects, and he says, "All right, there's this is not just a contact medallion. This is a tracker. She knows exactly where you are." And Kai just says, That's really bad. I don't know. She knows I'm here. She knows that you know." Um, and the captain of the King's Guard says, "I think there's a way that we can work with this. If you're willing to work with me, this could cause some problems for you. I'm not going to pretend that it isn't, but I think this is the only way to make the best of the situation and look out for you." And he proposes to use the situation and to have her decide to call the sorceress after all. And she says, "Well, why would I be doing that?" And she's like, "Why would I be here if I'm not betraying her to you? Like, I don't know." And the captain of the King's Guard says, "Easy. You got arrested today. You got arrested for uh, grifting. We'll put it on the books. We'll take it back off the books once this is all settled, of course. And if you'll agree to do this and agree to call her later um, and ask her to bail you, we'll have you call her. We'll have you ask her to bail you out. And if you will do this, we'll help you. We'll give you a great reward. We'll take care of you. But it's either you help us right now, or you're on your own, and you can take your chances." So what's it gonna be? Is she gonna work together with them, or is she gonna try to take her chances? All right, we've got one vote for work with them. And if we got another vote for work with them, I think that makes a lot of sense. I think that if we get any more votes rolling in, they're probably gonna go pretty much the same way. So she says, "All right, I'll work with you." And then she's like, "Wait, does this mean I have to go to the dungeon?" And then they're like, only for a moment. We won't put you in a terrible cell, but yes." And then she's like, "All right, I guess. Never thought I'd be doing this under these circumstances." And she follows them. She follows them to the dungeon, and um, immediately almost immediately she gets to her point out, and she's like, hey, can you hear me?" Um, and there's a hesitation, and she hears some like rustling and bustling um, of the streets, and finally she hears, "Is this Kai?" in the sorceress's voice, and she's like, "Yes, this is me. Um, I have a little bit of a situation." And she's like, "I can see it." She's like, it sounds like you do." And she sounds very curious and very interested. She says, "Got arrested this morning. Um, I was uh, I was uh, I was a little bit stressed out, and I was pickpocketing, and I thought I could get away with it, but it's been a while since I pickpocketed, and I missed my game, and I got caught, and they brought me here. And long story short, if you can come bail me out, I'll help you with whatever you want." Um, and the sorceress says, "All right, I'll send someone to bail you out." Um, and that's not the result she's hoping for, but Kai accepts it. She's like, "Okay, thank you so much." And so the captain of the King's Guard has been waiting right there, and he says, "Well, this is a bit of a situation since she's not coming herself. Um, we're going to need you to um, we're going to need you to keep this up for a little while until we can find her." And she's just like, "All right." And the man she saw before Augustus has left, and he returns. And this time he looks a little bit different. He looks a little tired. He's got another little he's got a little wooden bead in his hand, and it's just a simple little thing. It's just a little bead. It's made of wood. It's on a little simple string. Um, and he gives it to her, and he says, "This works similarly to the medallion. You can it's not quite as crisp, but you'll be able to speak to me with it. I won't be able to speak back to you as easily. I didn't have time to make as good of a as intricate of a charm. Um, but you will be able to speak to us with it, and you'll be able to let us know what's going on and where you're going." And she says, "Okay, but I don't know where the day is going to take me. I need some kind of assurance that my family's going to be all right during this." And they just kind of nod and say, "All right, we'll give you." And Augustus pulls out a purse, and the captain of the King's Guard is like a little frustrated by this, but he pulls out a purse and he's like, "Here you go. This is for you and your family. Get this to your friends, and they will be able to stay somewhere safe for quite a while. Remember, we'll know where you're going, and just hand this off to them at some point during the day before you go wherever she takes you." And so she nods and she says, "All right," and they both disappear, and a messenger comes wearing the same red that the lady was, and pays for her bail. And so she's got kind of secretly, she's got her little pouch of money, she's got her little bead bracelet on, and she's ready to go and um, face this situation. But she has a realization as she's walking out of there with the messenger, and she realizes that, "Bye, Ellie. I'm glad you had fun. Tune into the tune. There's it's gonna be up on YouTube if you want to finish the rest of it. But take care. It was really good to see you." Um, so is she gonna decide to try to slip away from the messenger, ditch her two tracking tokens, and disappear into the city with all this money that she has? Or is she going to decide not to risk it and try to stick things out? This story might be a little bit long. I might need to continue it the next time. And I think it makes sense for me to continue this the next time, especially because I set my first story in the same I set my first story in the same world as this one. I think maybe this could be a bit of a continuing thing. I might do that. I might do that. We'll see. We'll see. Like maybe short term. We'll see. But yeah. So she's gonna disappear into the city with the money. Um, so she's walking along. Um, she's just kind of she takes a minute, and she's decided that she's going to reverse pickpocket some people. So first, she slips the sorceress's tracker into somebody's pocket. And they're walking along about in the same direction as her, so that's not going to seem too suspicious for a while. And then she um, she starts undoing her bracelet, and she goes and she slips it into somebody else's pocket, and she she waits until the messenger's kind of looking around, and she darts down an alley, and she starts taking the back roads. She starts navigating her way back to the stay home inn, and she finds everybody, and everybody's there. Her friends Ryan is there, the kids Remy and Emmy are there, and she says, "All right, everyone, I've got to set up that we have to leave. We have to move now." And they're just like, "What?" And she's just like, "Trust me, we're moving. Let's go." And so they head towards the city gates, and they're running, and they're going to try to. There's a few outskirts towns. There's quite a few outskirts towns from the city, and a lot of them have little taverns and inns and stuff because people prefer not to stay in the city. And as long as they can get through the city walls, they will be able to um, they'll be able to escape. They can travel. They can try to set up a new life somewhere else. They've got enough money to get some new clothes, to get some disguises, to set themselves up just fine, and they are ready to leave when um, when they when all of a sudden Kai just feels this coldness just pouring over her, and she freezes, and the she finds that she can't really move. She's in a strange state, and she she looks at Ryan, she looks at the kids, and she hands him the pouch, and she's like, "You go, I'll catch up." And she doesn't really know if she's gonna catch up, but that's the best that she's got, and she she just kind of waits there, and soon Elle the sorceress reappears, and she says, "Well, very interesting seeing you in this situation." And Kai can't really talk very well. She just kind of nods. She's like, "Oh, it's interesting." Um, and the sorceress waves her hand and lifts the enchantment. And she says, "I'm sorry. I I didn't know what to tell you. I got myself into a real situation. When I got arrested, they noticed that I had the medallion, and they started asking me all kinds of questions, and they wanted me to try to find you, and I didn't want to do that. So I just tried to run away from it all. I'm sorry. Um, I I don't want any trouble. Um, and I'm sorry." And she's just very upset. She's just had a really intense spell put on her. She's not doing very well, and the sorceress just looks absolutely furious, and she says, "Well, we can see how sorry you are. Come with me." And friends, I think that's where we're going to hold. I think that's where we're going to hold off on our tale today. Next time I stream, it'll probably be next Wednesday, but I'm not sure. The next time I stream, I will pick back. I'll kind of retell where we've been from here. I'll pick back up where we left off. Sorry to leave you on a cliffhanger, but that's how I'm gonna leave you. Um, so take care. It was really lovely telling the story with you all and chatting with you all. And I will see you next time. It'll probably be Wednesday at 6 again. So I'll see you then. Bye bye. It has been fun. It was so good to be able to spend this time with you. We made something really cool. I'm really excited about it. Bye bye.